Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to quickly recap what we did in class today and to also remind you of the homework that's due for tomorrow. So recall today what we did in class was we spent the first probably half a class, hour and a half or so, really just processing the reading. So we talked for great length about the Frank Harris III and Sean Harper article. What is their thesis? What do they mean by male gender role conflict? What creates a male gender role conflict? What are the effects of a male gender role conflict? How does that relate to or get in the way of academic success at the community college for men? And last but not least, what are some recommendations that the authors make to how community colleges can support men in order to really help them be successful? And then the rest of class, we worked on finding keywords from the reading. Same thing that we did last week with the student fear factor in terms of using, the approach of looking for high definition, or sorry, not high definition, looking for high frequency, words that occur a lot, and also high impact, so words that occur in important parts of the reading. And then the final hour, we worked on drafting a summary paragraph of either the student fear factor or of masculinities goes to community college based upon the pre-write that we did today, roughly what's their thesis and keywords, or the pre-write that we did last Thursday. We did the same thing, though in addition to that, we also found a quote that illustrated each of those keywords. And so now what I'm asking you to do for tomorrow is I want you to summarize both of the readings. And so you should come to class with a 4 to 7 sentence summary of the student fear factor, and you should come to class with a 4 to 7 sentence summary of masculinities goes to community college. Personally, if I had time, I would type them up because that will save you some time doing the activity we'll do tomorrow. Though if you bring them in their handwritten, that's fine. Though just know that you'll have to type it up fairly quickly because we will complete the annotated bibliography in class tomorrow. I'll get to that in just a moment. So now, if you weren't in class today, if you go onto Canvas and if you click the modules here in this navigation bar on the left, go down to Module 1 under Writing and Reading Resources. You'll find your very first handout. This is what we use to write our college level summary. And so now this just kind of explains to you, this is what a good college level summary looks like. It even shows you a nice example, 2 examples really, of what this first sentence would look like. And then on the very back, it shows you what a nice, polished, well-crafted 4 to 7 sentence summary would look like. So it's going to look something like this. And then up here, I just break it down into the 4 discrete parts. So again, the first sentence, that's where you use that signal phrase with the genre and the title and the author, reporting verb. There's a resource in this module on reporting verbs if you need that. And then you just restate in your own words their thesis. And then in the second sentence, you would just list, but you have to quote the keywords that they use. Usually you want to quote 3 to 4 keywords. And then it's cool if you use these signal phrases that I'm using here. That's a signal phrase. We'll work on that tomorrow because we're just getting our feet wet. But do remember, you put the page number for each of those words that you're quoting. And then in the next part of the summary, you choose just 2 of those keywords, and you want to provide a specific example that the authors use in order to really illustrate what they mean by the banking model of education or problem-posing model of education. And so last week what we did for that pre-write was I asked you to find a sentence, or a direct sentence or a quote from the reading that illustrated whatever keyword it was that you chose from the reading. And so you would just want to restate that down here in your own words, okay? You just choose 2 or 3 of the keywords, and then you would just restate in your own words the example that you pulled from the reading. Okay? And then last but not least, you just end it with the conclusion, meaning what's the author's conclusion. So Frank Harris III and Sean R. Harper, how do they end their research, telling us how we can support male students? Okay, you just state that in a sentence. Or Rebecca D. Cox, how does she end her research, telling us how we can help students work through their anxiety? Okay, so that's really it. So I'm asking you just to come to class tomorrow with 2 paragraphs. Each one will be about 4 to 7 sentences, and they should look about like this. So try to make it as polished as possible. Okay, now let me show you one more thing, and then we can call it a day. The next thing I've asked you to do is I want you to read, it's really short, read this article and annotate it on the art of quoting, because that's going to help you with the second part of the annotated bib that we'll work on tomorrow. Okay? So we started working on this today, and we're just going to knock this thing out in class tomorrow. And so I'm asking you for tomorrow to write these brief summaries, and then tomorrow in class we'll work on the response paragraph. But you will be working with quotes. So look at the read and annotate the art of quoting. And again, if you weren't in class today, you can find it here. Okay, so that's really it. And like I said in class today, really, the trick to writing, I think certainly to being efficient with your time and lowering your stress level, is you just get your ideas out on paper, and then once you get them out on paper, you go back and you revise them and you edit. And then you review that when you're done, and you go back, you revise that, and you edit. Okay? Often what we try to do, and I used to do this myself, is we try to revise and edit as we write. And it's very stressful, it's very inefficient, and usually the writing falls apart. Okay? So you just have to be comfortable as a writer, really just having a really shitty draft, and then going back and making it better, making it a little less shitty, and then going back and revising it and making it even better. Okay, that's the trick really to good writing. So just do your best. That's all I'm asking of you, and that's all you can do. And be sure that you bring a 4 to 7 sentence summary of the student fear factor to class tomorrow, and a 4 to 7 sentence summary of Masculinities Go to Community College. And I'll be in my office around 10:30 or so. If you have any questions, feel free to pop on in. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.